Dr. Kashey here, and I want to discuss the gritty subject of perfectionism. Is it perfection or punishment?
Which is which?
In which, when things aren't absolutely perfect, heads will roll. That head, very well, may be your own. Needing things to be just so all of the time can place a serious amount of undue stress on your person. Some people are they're just like this about nutrition. Some people are just like this about everything. You know the kid that gets a 99% and they're pissed off? These people that grow up into adults that consider themselves control freaks that couldn't control their way out of a cardboard box. Other times, people are perfectly logical and reasonable and algorithmic in all other areas of their life except for food. Because, you know, food has magical and voodoo and religious and emotional and all sorts of other powers surrounding it. It's everybody's tool, so it can be frustrating when you feel like you have control in literally every other part of your life except for what you put in your mouth. Try and put those expectations on yourself when it comes to nutrition when you know it's not reasonable. It only compounds the issue further. To the benefit of these folks, they are fully capable of losing whatever weight they need and looking the way they want. They're also fully capable of keeping it off. The only missing link in their chain is that they don't know how, and that they're banging their head against the wall trying to make progress and maintain using the same methods that they would use maybe in their career or at home. Those things just don't apply in fitness, health, and nutrition. If it doesn't work, just do it harder. Right. Just like in business. Right. Once you goof, what does it do to your mood? Does it make it worse? Once you feel crummy, how easy is it for you to stay on track? Probably not as easy. Ironically enough, if you beat yourself up, that sort of negative reinforcement isn't going to make you perform any better. It might even make you perform worse. Chastising yourself, decreasing your self-worth may artificially decrease your competency, making you less likely to keep control of your behavior. In other words, the more you punish yourself for not being perfect, the less likely you're going to be perfect at anything. And a ring around the rosy we go until you just flat out give up. Ironic, really. Needing things to be perfect and giving up because they aren't. That seems like a lot like entitlement versus perfection. The disconnect here is that work needs to be put in. Being perfect, I think it is achievable. Is it sustainable? Absolutely not. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Does it require effort, energy, education? Oh yeah. Is it worth it to put in the time and energy to become perfect? Probably not. Is it reasonable to put the time and energy and effort into getting damn near perfect? Absolutely. Like when you're learning any other skill, it's difficult and irritating and frustrating when you make mistakes, but it's easy to learn from them and hop right back on and do it again. A couple of days later, your skill noticeably improves. The reality is that nutrition and exercise processes are not any different from that. It's just about understanding what little victories are worth celebrating, and when you make a mistake, how you can improve from that later. It is a skill, and skills require time to learn. If you give yourself the opportunity to learn other things, it shouldn't be any different to give an opportunity to learn this either. Goofing up is an opportunity to learn, just like in any other thing you are learning. Just like it is in any other skill you are trying to master. You'll feel dumb. You'll feel like you can't control your weight out of the broadside of a barn. You'll feel like you wouldn't be able to control yourself out of a cardboard box. You'll feel incompetent. You'll feel all this stuff. But then you won't. If you're a person that's used to doing well at everything all the time, it's overwhelmingly the case that it's difficult to see the positive. If you expect to do well, you're going to home in on the things that did not go well. The reality is that that's good. The difference is whether or not you use that energy to improve upon the things that aren't as good as they could be, or to just beat yourself up about it, not improve, and make yourself be vulnerable to do it again. You'll probably make a mistake tomorrow. You'll probably make a mistake today. You probably aren't going to repeat the same mistakes over and over. There are plenty of different mistakes to make, so best get them out of the way now. When you do, make sure to sweat the small stuff and understand that you're making yourself better. Beating yourself up doesn't help you at all. It, unfortunately, will demoralize you to the point of making it more difficult to stick to a plan. Remember, when you're trying to learn some other skill, you do get frustrated, and you probably get irritated at yourself, but you still kept putting the energy in, and you kept improving, and you can do it in a measurable way. Nutrition is not any different. It's just a matter of understanding what data you need to collect to make sure that you are making improvements, and those are the little victories. Absolutes kill in terms of nutrition. Allow some flexibility. You're never going to avoid making mistakes, but what you can do is avoid making the same mistake multiple times. Worst case scenario, you go through every single mistake possible and learn from it. Not a bad trait. It's understandable that you would focus on the things that you did poorly, and that's exactly what you should be doing. It's actually pretty good. The disconnect now is whether or not you take that energy and turn it into something constructive so you can learn from it, or use it as ammunition to beat yourself up. Focusing on the stuff you didn't do correctly is okay. Use it to your advantage.